Welcome to the Childcare Genius Podcast, the world's leading authority on childcare marketing, mindset, expansion, and profitability. Each episode will feature interviews with the brightest minds in the childcare industry to guide you into becoming a smarter business leader. Our hosts have opened 10 schools while raising 5 children. They are certified business coaches and are the top-selling childcare business book authors of all time. This episode is sponsored by Childcare Genius Marketing. Let Childcare Genius Marketing help you get fully enrolled and fully staffed. Visit childcaregenius.com for more details. Let's welcome to the Childcare Genius Podcast our hosts, Brian and Carol Duprey.
So welcome back to Childcare Genius Podcast. This week, we're going to be talking about operations. We're halfway through talking about the fourth pillar of leveraging your childcare business, and that is operations. We think this is very important and has to do with your leadership team. Very important to get a good leadership team in place.
Yes.
Leaders are very important to your business. And what is an L10 meeting? Something that we do.
It's we do a meeting with our leaders, our leadership team, and we go through different things that happen. We go through milestones. Sorry, you kind of threw this at me. We have a list of everything that we have to check for that week and where we are on different things. And then we go through everybody's to-do list for the week. What are you going to do this week? And what do we need to talk to the team about? What has come up with employees or customers? Anything that we need to discuss?
Yeah. So this is different because we do two different. I was talking about the L10 meeting for the actual L10, which is the director one, and that's the second one. So we have an owner one, and we have a leadership team on L10. So would we do something different on the L10 one with the directors?
Yeah, the director one, what we do is we have, we go through, like I said, we go through everything that we need to check. We call it a scorecard. And it's, what parents are behind, what parents are coming up for renewals of their contract, if they have state contracts, what are the training hours for the staff? What's your enrollment numbers? What's your FTE? We go through all of that with the directors every week. And we also do a checkup on employees, especially new employees, how they're doing. And we do a check on parents that are behind, if anybody's new behind, and if anybody was behind before, are they further behind now or are they catching up? So we keep a running total of that. We also have a list, an issues list that every director brings something to. We started that probably last year. We used to make the list of everything we wanted to discuss, but we didn't want the meeting to be this is what you need to do. So we started, every director has to bring something in that they want to talk about. So then we go through the issues list. If we have time to do it all, we do it all. If we don't, we push some things to the next week.
Yeah, very important to do this regularly and do this the same time each and every week with all your leaders. We have some owners that don't do regular meetings with their staff members or their leaders, and it's very important as an owner to know the pulse of your business, and this is how you do it through an L10.
Now, I don't do the one with the directors.
Yep.
I do the one with the leadership team, and then our operations manager does the one with the directors.
Yeah. So again, some people call their leadership team with their directors. Just we just do a directors one, we do a leadership one. So, but you'll find a way that works in your company. You make it work for you. It's just important to have regular meetings with some kind of structure and some kind of accountability of numbers.
Especially if you're not in the center. If you aren't there all the time, this is a good way for you to see what's going on.
Yes, very important.
And keep on top of it.
Make sure you have the right people in the right seats. Very important. If you're somebody that have not leadership skills, maybe they shouldn't be in the job they're in. Make sure you have the right people there. Another thing is don't micromanage your team. Delegate and give it to them. A lot of owners that we coach are a little bit too into the day-to-day. Maybe you need to pull back a little bit and delegate to some of your team members. Don't expect perfection. Nobody's perfect, even though you might think you are. As a team member, as an owner, you need to trust your people. You hired them, you put them in these positions, let them do their job.
One thing is you'll find out when you give them the ability to run things without you micromanaging, first of all, you'll get new ideas that you didn't think about. And second of all, you'll give them the power, and then they'll take more ownership in the business.
100%. And make sure you track your enrollment numbers. Very important part of operations. Know what your enrollment is and track it historically. So week to week, your full and part-time enrollment at every location you have, and save that historical data. You'll need that down the road.
We have ours for probably 10 years. 10 years.
Oh, I've started doing this in 06 or 07. So probably 15 years I've at numbers. And it's very important to have that. And I did this long before I ever went to a childcare conference.
Yeah.
I was probably the first person to ever do this. It's so important to know your numbers. And so many people don't know them. And, if I say, what's your current FTE? First of all, it'd be like, what's FTE? But your current enrollment, and I don't know. And they guess. I said, where was it in May? I did a call with somebody today, and I said, what'd you make? She goes, let me pull out my folder. And she pulled out her folder and she knew it. I was so proud of her for knowing what her numbers were back in May, because I wanted to see how she's done from summer enrollment. Did she lose anything? So it's
we've
important to know
also
that.
talked to owners that we're like, how many children do you have? And they say, oh, I have 90 some children. But then when they look at their FTE, they have like 60.
There's a lot of part-time kids. Yeah. So it's important to know that information, know the historical data, track it. Very important to have leadership team, the right people in the right seats, and do regular meetings with your people. Then your operations are going to run smoothly. Make sure you're not too top heavy. That's another thing is, if you're too top heavy, if you have one location, you have 4 or 5 people on your admin team, you might be a little too top heavy. I have clients with 6 locations that have just 3 people on their leadership team.
Yeah.
So, it's just make sure you have something that works for you. If it works for you and you can afford it, great. But sometimes too many cooks in the kitchen spoils the meal.
Also look at what the people in your admin team are doing, and are they really doing a 40-hour job?
Yes.
Are they really working for 40 hours a week? And also, we talked about if you have a job description, put a person in that job that fits the description. Don't take a person and say, this is what I'm going to have this person do.
Yes.
Because then that's when you end up having the wrong people in the wrong seats.
Good point, Carol. You're so smart. This is why you're on the podcast with me.
I thought it was because I was married to you.
Because you're gorgeous. All right. Well, we hope you've enjoyed this episode talking about operations, one of the 8 pillars of leverage in your childcare business. Next week, we're going to dive into the topic of leadership, and that's going to be fun and exciting. So we will see you next week on the Childcare Genius Podcast. Well, thank you for tuning in to this episode. Before we go today, we want to remind you that tickets are still on sale. We have not sold out yet for our Childcare Genius Live Conference in Las Vegas, April 14th, 15th, and 16th at the Golden Nugget. That is in downtown Las Vegas. And tickets are on sale right now at childcaregenius.com. And we're excited to have you there. We're going to have over 500 exciting childcare owners and directors. There's 2 different experiences, one for owners in one room and one for directors in a completely different room. And it's the most advanced childcare conference in the world. You excited, Carol?
I am. It's going to be a great conference.
Yeah, we did it last year. We had over 300 last year. We're going to have over 500 this year, and it's going to be amazing. We had secured ticket room prices. We secured $75 room rate plus resort fee and tax, but that's an unheard of to go to a conference. Childcare conference, you only have to pay $75 plus resort fee and tax for a room. You can afford to bring your whole team at that price. Absolutely. And of course, it's cheap to eat in Las Vegas too.
Yeah.
Some of these hotels you go to in, big cities like New York or Chicago, and they're paying $12 for a hamburger and, and $8 for a cup of coffee because you're stuck there. You can't go anywhere else. And here you got, the Vegas
Steak and
downtown.
shake.
Things are cheap. Yeah, steak and
Shake burger.
$4.99 for a steak and shake burger and fries. You can eat cheaply, and or you can eat expensive too. This
Yeah.
nice restaurant.
Really good steakhouses.
But it's definitely much more affordable than going to most childcare conferences. And Vegas is fun.
It is fun.
And they have a good time. So we hope you'll consider coming to the most advanced childcare conference in the world. Every speaker is in the childcare industry. We don't put celebrities on who can't teach you how to do payroll in a childcare center. They might sell a few books, but we don't do that. We just put people on stage that have done what you wanted to do. And totally different than most childcare conferences. And Carol and I can't wait to meet you, and we'd love to have you there. So go to childcaregenius.com, go under the conference tab, and select Childcare Genius Live, and go ahead and get your tickets today. Book your rooms. This will sell out, and we're excited to say that. So this concludes this episode of the Childcare Genius podcast. Thank you so much for listening.
We'll see you next week. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you won't miss a future episode of the Childcare Genius podcast.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Childcare Genius podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please do us a favor and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a future episode. Don't forget to visit our website at childcaregenius.com to see a list of services we offer to help grow your childcare business. Until next time, thank you for being a part of the Childcare Genius community.